Season 5, Episode 100, Take 1. What's better? What is good, everybody? My name is Jake, and welcome back to the One Take series, where we get one chance to reflect on the day. No second chances, no third chances, one take, and one take only. This is the second time in a season of One Take where I've hit Episode 100. Even though it is a very different means of hitting 100, it is not quite consistency, but it is still equally important and powerful, I would debate, because it's not just consistency that gets you somewhere, but also, like we talked about yesterday and the day before, the ability to come back is very important, and it's a very cool thing that you should learn in life because it's helpful. So I'm going to run through the 10 typical things, and then I'm going to talk about something else that I want to just mention really quick. And actually, you know what, I'm going to start with it, because at the top of our list we have God, right? And before, I think the only way, I was thinking that the only way that I could connect with God daily is to read the Bible daily. And I think I should eventually work myself into that. I think at some point that would still be very good for me if I read 2 chapters a day, or if I just heavily analyzed one a day, right? I think that could be really good for me. However, I had an idea just this session. And so I think it could be a really great way for me to learn more about the Bible and also to spread the Bible with you guys. I think that'd be a really awesome thing, because I like sharing verses with people, and I like sharing verses that are really impactful. So I specifically want to talk about something, because the main thing of today, right? One of the main things that happened, what happens typically is that one of my main 3 things, right? I was talking about it yesterday. 3 hardest sins for me to conquer in no particular order: lust, gluttony, and then what was the last one? It was so bad that I can't even remember it. Let me see. So those 2, and then it was, what was the last one? Swearing, cursing. That's what it is. And so basically, I've been trying to take more acts to not swear. Just today, and then also yesterday as well. Still need to work on that. That's gonna be in the works for quite a while. I'm not gonna lie. However, regarding gluttony, okay, the thing is that I will impulsively buy heavy meals for me to eat, right? Pretty heavy meals, whether it's a lot of Chick-fil-A, whether it's a McDonald's kind of from time to time. And so it's kind of ironic, because later on in the day I didn't realize my roommate was nice enough to bring back McDonald's, so it was kind of a thing of, it doesn't seem too impactful, however it's impactful to me, okay? Because within my own bounds, I want to only eat junk food and big meals only in rare occasions, in very, very rare occasions, right? So today, I was picking up from a store near me, just kind of a Z-Pack, because my body has been doing a little dance back and forth on whether or not it wants to be sick. I'm not enjoying that dance right now. And so basically, I just kind of ordered a Z-Pack to come, but unfortunately, I just so happened to go during the lunch break, right? And so basically that had me waiting for 20 minutes. And so the temptation was basically the fact that normally when I go to Albertsons, just for fun, I get myself a 12. This was my definition of fun, by the way. I don't know why I relate fun to eating a lot. I don't really know why. Probably something with dopamine, but it's something I need to cut off. So basically, what I did was, what I usually do is I get a 12-pack of donuts, and I just kind of keep it to myself, eat it across the span of 3 days. I'm not crazy enough to do the whole pack in one session, okay? I'm not that insane. However, I had that option today, and so I was like, do I do it or not? Even though I'm sick, it's still bad, but then temptation won, right? And so I bought myself, not proud of it, I bought myself a dozen donuts, right? Specifically a dozen, because the stores, they do that thing where a donut is 99 cents, but then a dozen specifically is worth $9, so you get 25% off. And so basically, I was there, and I was able to pick up another main reason that I went there was to get some more vitamin C, just as, not a prescription, but I guess just as an antibiotic. And so it was good. I was able to get the antibiotic, and then I eventually did get the azithromycin, but the main thing is that I gave it to temptation, and it's a shame, because up to that point I've been doing really good. I barely cursed all day, and so I'll talk a little bit more about that as well. And then obviously the first one we're good on. So it was dang, bro, like I gave into it. It was so bad, right? And so pretty much it got really bad, like to the point where like I maybe got it with like 15 minutes before like the pharmacy was open. I ate 4 donuts in that spin, and then eventually later at home I ate 1 donut for a total of 5 donuts. But what I did, okay, and I know it's kind of, it's a little bit painful, but I think it sends a message to my brain because I had a burnout. I'm like, okay, you know what? Here's the thing though. There's a really good quote that I read back in like either high school or middle school. Unfortunately, I can't remember the author. However, I mean, I could look it up. You know, I'm going to look it up real quick because it is a really good quote. And I remember the quote word for word off the top of my head. But let's see. What is it? Girls, something, and the phone in your pocket. In your pocket. Guy's Guide to God, Girls, and the Phone in Your Pocket. That's what it was. Okay. And the author was... I need to reread this book. It's actually a really good book. Jonathan McKee. Okay, never heard of his works besides this. However, he had a really good quote that I believe he learned from his dad. It was the first thing mentioned in the book, is that every bad decision started 5 bad decisions ago. What a peak quote. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back who didn't hear. Every bad decision started 5 bad decisions ago. Right? And the reason why this is applicable, because his example was basically like, oh, well, like, let's say that, like, from a party, you broke the couch or whatever, something crazy. You broke a TV, let's say. I don't think he used this exact thing, but it was something similar. Basically, he said, well, the bad decision wasn't initially breaking the TV. It was first deciding to throw a party. It was first deciding, or at first it was the thought of having having a party, right? Then it was the action of actually initiating it. Then it was the action of actually letting it happen. And then there was the action of letting it happen, like get out of hand and stuff like that, right? It's basically the whole thing of like bad decisions don't happen just randomly. It's not you do one bad thing and then all of a sudden it's a bad decision, okay? Every bad decision started 5 bad decisions ago, at least the peak of it. And the reason why it was applicable to this one is specifically regarding eating the donuts, okay? Because I had the option, I was given the option myself to buy the donuts, first of all, right? I lost that battle. However, the key thing about donuts, you might have heard of them, they're a piece of food. They don't actually affect your body until they actually enter your body, right? And so basically, it was a thing of like, yes, I decided to buy the donuts, however, do I decide to eat them? And so after eating the 5 donuts, I was like, no, bro. I'm on the verge of getting sick. I cannot deal with this right now because all donuts are going to do right now is get me more sick. Am I really going to let the taste, because I love donuts, but am I really going to let the taste of donuts overpower the fact that I could potentially be getting sick in the last couple of weeks of school, and also in the last couple of weeks where I actually have free time to do whatever I want to do? Do I really want to get sick then? No. So, in the words of the Bible, and this is what I'm getting to today, right? By the way, this is why the title of today's episode is Goodbye Gluttony, because you're going to see, right? And there's a Bible verse, and I remembered it from a specific thing, right? And each day I'm going to try and do a thing where I tie it into a Bible verse. That's like that's the idea that I want going forward. So at least if we don't get to reading the Bible, then we still have some type of Christianity, some type of religion, some type of Jesus in our life, right? So the verse that it made me think of was Matthew 5, verse 29 through 30. Okay, you might have heard of it. It specifically says, what is it? Oh, of course I accidentally... Hang on. There you go. Okay. I believe it is, and if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. For it is better that you lose one of your members than that your whole body go into hell. Basically saying, it's not saying to literally cut off your hand, okay, obviously. But what it is saying is that if there is a sin that you keep on committing and you keep falling for over and over again, you need to cut off whatever initiates that sin. You need to stop it, right? So in this case, very simple example, right? If I don't want to overconsume food, then I shouldn't be going out and buying that food, right? It's a very simple principle. It's a very simple thing, but it works. It works because that's how you get past addictions. That's how you get past bad things in your life. You don't attack the branch of the tree, okay? You go for the root. You go for the thing that's actually causing the tree to grow in the ground. You cut off a branch, the branch is coming back, but you remove the root, that tree, you don't have to worry about that tree anymore. That's all I'm going to say there. So cut off your right hand if you think your right hand is going to commit sin. Okay, that's basically what it's saying. So honestly, I think by that logic, we did that. Okay, so I'm going to say, you know what? For every time that we do that, I'm going to put that. But we'll see. I think that I was honestly, you know what? I think that counts as a pass. That counts as a pass. It's not reading the Bible, however, it is tying stuff into religious teachings, and I think it is a good message for everybody. So basically, there was that. Okay, for the gym, yes, I did get to the gym. It was leg day, so it was a little bit painful to hit, but nonetheless, I still went. It's annoying because currently the gym that I'm going to, there are only, oh my gosh, I hate when gyms do this. Basically, there are two different, so with legs, right, there are like 3 primary things, right? 4 primary things that you have to hit in total, right? There's calves, there's hamstrings, there's quads, and then there's the squatting exercise that works out everything in unison, right? And so with the machines, I believe that they have like 4 of like the squatting ones. However, with the quads and the hamstring machines, they only have 1 of each. Does that happen at your gym too? I hate when that happens. It's so annoying. Because what specifically makes it annoying, because usually it's one thing is taken up, so you can't really do both because they obviously are repairing. But what makes it specifically annoying in this case is that the quad machine was out of order, the leg extensions were out of order, that machine was gone. And then afterwards, for some reason, after that machine got fixed, then the one for the hamstrings was broken. I'm like, oh my gosh. So for leg curls, basically I had to replace that with Bulgarian split squats. And anyone who's done Bulgarian split squats knows that that is debatably one of the most painful exercises that one can do. It's effective, but it's not ideal, I'll tell you that much. But basically, I basically ended up, this is like just a whole yap session, but anyways, pretty much I've been trying to get into deadlifting, and just because I've heard that it's good for the hamstrings, I'll kind of do more looking into it just to kind of see good form, because that is my main concern right now, is that I'm using too much of my lower back, and I'm not trying to lift with my back. This isn't back day, right? And I don't do back day. I do push-pull legs. This isn't back day. That's already incorporated with other things. Even though it does work out my lower back, the main emphasis I'm doing it for is my hamstrings, just as long as the machine is out of order. So right now, we still went to the gym, even though it is my least favorite out of the 3 days. So I think that's a win. Okay, internships, no, I did not do anything today. However, tomorrow, I know I have time to write that cover letter. There are no excuses. This is happening. Tomorrow, I will put it in an exclamation mark in some random color. We are going to do orange. Let's see. Just to really emphasize and bring the point home of we should do this. Because the more time that passes by with all these internships, the less likely we are to get them. I don't have an excuse. I gotta draft the outline of that cover letter. And from there, let's set a goal of at least submit 5 internship applications. We can do that, right? So basically we'll do that. Okay, research, no, I've not taken any further action, for kind of self-explanatory reasons. I kind of covered it yesterday. And then we have the rest of it, okay? Academics, obviously, come on, I'm a student. Obviously, I've been, guess what have I done today? Yeah, you know what, yeah, technically, yes. Yes, I have. So I'm gonna put a check mark there, okay? Music, yes, definitely. It's nice, I can start prioritizing music a little bit more. One take, again, short form content, probably over break. However, as long as I am up to speed, this is going to be a check mark. Sleep, no, I did not get good sleep. I got under 6 hours. Not ideal. However, you look at that list, not bad. It's not bad at all. So I'm gonna go through the rest of the day real quick, and we'll just see if there are any type of lessons that come along. So basically, it started off. This was the main thing for academics that I did today, and the rest of it was pretty much rest, which was nice. I would say that it basically started off with. Well, I told no, we'll skip past that. So basically, I kind of get there, and I get there like kind of like a little bit earlier than I kind of usually would. Usually, I don't work on lab stuff, but my group wanted to work on the final project in lab, so we pretty much were able to do that just like in our little half of the table, and so it was pretty good. I mean, we're still getting things set up and still getting equipment. And one thing I need to do, I will actually write it down because it is another important thing, is I need to reach out to the research professor that we are working under for the derivation that I'm supposed to be doing. And the reason why I'm saying this is because one of the people in my lab group was basically, he was offering to kind of like do the meeting and stuff, and it was really, really nice of him. But basically, in the project that we're doing, essentially my job is to provide the derivation for how it actually works, right? And so basically, I didn't even realize that I could, but basically, one of the guys in the group was basically saying, hey, like, basically I'm trying to like schedule a time to like meet with the professor on like how the actual math behind it works. And I'm like, well, I mean, he said the times don't work for him. I'm like, well, I mean, gladly, like, I'll take over that portion just so we can have it like kind of consistent throughout like the project and stuff. So, pretty much the plan here is to meet with him whenever he wants to, and then pretty much either same day delivery or like one business day. Within that, I'm going to honestly try my best to get just that derivation out of the way, get my stuff, maybe not all same day, but then get my stuff recorded and also put into the lab report for the thing, because we got to do both. We got to do a lab report and we got to do a video lab explaining the thing. And so I'm planning on just getting my entire part done, so that way all I have to do, wait for everybody else, edit the video together, send it to the group leader, and then we just get that out of the way, right? And so pretty much that was the only academic thing that I did today besides go to class for semiconductor, which, I mean, that class was interesting, but afterwards, I just went to the gym, I came home, I relaxed. It was a really nice day, but it was more like kind of just like relaxing in terms of spiritual, just trying to cut off the hand that commits sin, I guess. That was really the main idea. So, and then of course, the way that I checked off music was basically for, what is it? And then I wanted to mention something about yesterday too, but anyways, right now, so for music, basically the only thing that I have to do in between now and the album dropping, right, is tomorrow, maybe? I could also do it tonight, but basically, I need to get the first single released because it's basically the thing of like I just need to release single after single after single to build momentum for the album, which is dropping before Easter, right? And so basically I have most of them lined up, okay? Pretty much 4, I want to say, so there's the one that I'm releasing next. Okay, so 3 out of the 5 songs are basically completely done, right? As far as I'm concerned. And so the one that I'm going to release next is like completely out of the way. However, what is nice is that the one that I'm planning to do is like a New Year's type of song. I was able to make the cover art for today, and it was very, very hype. I wonder if I can show it without like explicitly like giving anything away, but I feel like it is a really cool piece of art that I feel like it just naturally goes hard, like that's all I'm gonna say. There's not much besides that. I'll casually click out of that thing that reveals what school I'm going to, and then I will show you. So this is what it looks like. Hopefully that is in frame. But basically the song is called 20XX, and so the idea is that it's, the phrase of like, this year is going to be my year, like 2013 is going to be my year, 2026 is going to be my year. So it's basically a New Year's thing of like saying, this is a new year, it's a fresh start, let's go out and let's get some freaking bands, dude. Like, that's basically all it is. And so it's just a simple thing to get the ball kind of rolling, and afterwards I have the 3 other singles that I'm going to do. Out of those other 3 singles, 2 are completely done, and then 1 I just have to string together. And then, yeah, we basically, the goal is like, the ball is like officially rolling in terms of like albums and stuff like that. We now have a deadline on the album, okay? And this is what is good for me, is like, I work better under a deadline. I cannot afford, again, because I pushed so many things off in like the public, at least my first album, I pushed it off by a whole week. The whole thing about me forcing myself, even though the album isn't done, is the idea that now the album has to get done. There is no choice other than the album has to get done. So I think it's honestly going to work out really beautifully for me, and I think the cover art goes with the song pretty well. So I'm honestly like, I'm really hyped about that. I really am, because that's basically that's like the only other thing that happened today. So we got finally a nice short episode. Thankfully they've been getting shorter after the hour and 50 minute and then the hour long. And now this is probably, I'm going to check this. I know it's like 5 minutes off, whatever it is. Okay, so, oh wow, and that's still somewhat long, but okay. I mean, 21, you know, like that's definitely shorter in comparison. I feel like that's like the length of a modern day one take episode anyways. So, yeah, not bad at all. So, what did we learn from today? We learned that, one, most importantly, if you have one takeaway from this video, let it be that if you keep falling into sin, remove the thing that initiates that. Remove it completely. If laziness, if sloth is the sin that you're most concerned about, then remove things that make you lazy. If wrath is your main sin, then try and address the root cause of why you are angry or feel like unleashing that wrath onto others. I'm not trying to just list the 7 deadly sins, but let's say, I mean, that's pretty much it, you know? Like, if you have a sin in mind that you know you can fix, then try and remove triggers that initiate that. That's all I'm going to say. So, basically, that's one, for sure. And then second is going to be the fact that, what should you do? I mean, I guess it technically ties into the first one. However, I'm going to say it because, once again, it's a really good quote. Every bad decision started 5 bad decisions ago. Okay? Even if you make a bunch of bad decisions over and over and over and over and over again, what matters is the final bad decision. Because all of those bad decisions leading up to it, yeah, they're bad. They're not really in your best interest. However, the actual bad thing doesn't really happen until you decide to let it happen. So, try and catch yourself. Even if you make a bad decision, don't just think, oh, well, I already made one bad decision, it's time to make all the others. No. You made a bad decision. That's okay. We're all human. We're all sinners. Pick yourself up from it. Readjust, recorrect, and come back stronger. That's number 2. And then number 3, I'm not sure what number 3 should be. Let me see. Maybe something having to do with labs, since that was like the only other major thing that happened today. I would say for number 3, okay, hang on. What would number 3 be? Hang on. I'm trying to think. Okay. You know what? There was something that I'm going to take the advice of, and I'm going to make sure that in the morning it's the first thing I do, right? Lesson number 3, it's a quote that I saw somewhere else on the internet, is basically, if it takes you no more than 2 minutes to do, just do it right now. Okay? That's what I'm going to say. I'm specifically bringing this up because of the email that I have to do, right? Basically, if you can get it out of the way right now, why put it off? Why put it off, right? Some things just don't take a lot of time, right? They really don't. You know, if we're talking about, like, let's say brushing your teeth. Brushing your teeth takes about 2 minutes. If you have to brush your teeth and you're waiting for no reason, what are you waiting for? Go and brush your teeth, right? There's not really, like, you don't need to wait. Like, I understand the procrastination mindset coming from a procrastinator himself, right? But the thing is that if it takes you a small amount of time to do it, there is no reason to put pressure on yourself later on to perform when you could just get it out of the way now. And so that's pretty much all I got. So Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys again tomorrow. Cut. Let's go, dude. 100 episodes. That's so sick.